Once upon a time, there was a city called Diligenceville. It was known for its hard-working people. There were many opportunities for those willing to work hard, and the people felt proud of their efforts to get ahead. The streets were busy with people going to their jobs, and everywhere you looked, people were trying to improve their lives. In a less developed part of the city, there was a place called the Excuse District. Here, the streets were filled with unfinished projects and broken dreams, a place where many hopes were lost. The people there had big plans, but laziness took over their lives. You could feel the doubt in the air, and you often heard phrases like, "not today," and "maybe tomorrow" around every corner. In this district, there was a building called Someday Suites. The walls were cracked, and the elevator never worked, just like the dreams of the people living there. Even though it looked old and worn, the people in Someday Suites always said that things would get better one day. Just not today. Each person was waiting for the right time to do something, but for most, that time never came. It was a place where hopes and hard work were always put off, saved for a day that might never happen. This is where a man named Mr. I Will Do It Tomorrow lived. His friends just called him Mr. Tomorrow. Unlike his hard-working friends, Mr. Tomorrow spent his days relaxing in his small apartment. He thought he was waiting for the perfect chance to come, just like everyone else in Someday Suites. "Why should I worry now when I can enjoy today?" he often said to himself. Mr. Tomorrow had a close friend named Procrastination, who was always there to remind him that work could wait. Unlike his other friends, Focus and Determination, who spoke about the importance of hard work and self-improvement, Procrastination had a different view. He'd say, "Why rush? Just take it easy today. All those things can wait for another time." And Mr. Tomorrow, feeling understood and comforted, was always glad to agree. Mr. Tomorrow rarely lifted a finger to do anything meaningful, yet he had big dreams for his life. In his mind, he was destined for success. He saw himself in a high-paying job, making important decisions, earning respect and admiration. People would look to him for guidance, and his success felt almost effortless, as if the world was simply waiting for him. He imagined himself driving through the city in a fancy car, catching people's eyes at every stoplight. The sound of the engine was a signal to the world of his achievements, the life he believed he deserved. He dreamed of living in a grand house with tall gates and a beautiful garden, filled with everything money could buy. And above all, he pictured being married to a beautiful, supportive woman, always by his side as he achieved his dreams. Together, they'd enjoy a happy life, reaping the rewards of his hard work. But these dreams existed only in Mr. Tomorrow's mind, far from the life he lived each day. In reality, his apartment was a mess, filled with piles of unwashed clothes and leftover food containers, old magazines scattered across the floor, a couch sagging under neglected cushions, and a dusty coffee table covered in half-empty soda cans. The kitchen sink overflowed with dirty dishes, and bits of food clung to the sides, a clear sign that he didn't care about keeping his home tidy. His refrigerator stood silent, its shelves almost empty, except for a few expired sauces hiding in the back. This emptiness reflected how he neglected his own well-being, often choosing takeout over cooking for himself. Even though Mr. Tomorrow could have changed his situation, he always put it off, making excuses like, "It's too hot to go outside," or "What if I get stuck in traffic?" Instead of taking charge, he waited for a lucky break that never came. In the main city of Diligenceville, there was a busy area where responsibility headquarters stood tall. The energy there was alive with purpose and dedication as employees worked hard on important projects. Each person played a key part in making sure every task was finished on time and done well. The workplace was friendly and teamwork focused, with colleagues helping and motivating each other. They often cheered one another on to meet deadlines and exceed expectations. Mr. Tomorrow held a position as a proactive planner at Responsibility Headquarters, but he rarely showed up to work on time. His desk was always cluttered with a pile of pending tasks that he kept postponing, telling himself he'd get to them later or when he could focus better. He often called in sick, telling his boss that he'd come in the next day, but the truth was that he would wake up late or feel too overwhelmed by work. Mr. Tomorrow's boss, the director of duty, had high expectations and grew increasingly frustrated with Mr. Tomorrow's habit of leaving tasks unfinished. Despite being given important work, Mr. Tomorrow rarely completed anything, feeling undervalued and underpaid for the effort he was supposed to put in, but never did. Eventually, the director of duty, tired of his excuses, decided to let him go. Mr. Tomorrow was outraged when he was fired. He always believed he deserved better and felt that the director of duty should have been grateful for having someone like him, even though he knew he was capable of far more than this worthless, low-paying job as a proactive planner. But losing his job had consequences. Mr. Tomorrow no longer had money for takeout, electricity, or other bills. So he went to Mr. Credit for a small loan, planning to pay it back in a few weeks. He got the loan, and for a while, everything seemed back to normal. When Mr. Tomorrow lost his job, his childhood friends, Focus and Determination, heard about it and came to visit. They brought along their boss, Lady Time, who owned a company called Limited Resources of Life. She was there to offer Mr. Tomorrow a job at her office. However, Mr. Tomorrow couldn't picture himself working for another boss who expected him to do his best. He thought working with Lady Time would make him look bad, and the pay wasn't even great. So he told his friends he would come in for the interview another day, thinking, this job will always be there. I'll just go for the interview later if I can't find anything else. Weeks turned into months, and soon, Focus and Determination stopped coming by. Mr. Tomorrow never went for that interview with Lady Time. Then one day, poverty knocked on Mr. Tomorrow's door. When he knocked, it was loud and forceful. He wasn't there to be nice or offer encouragement. Poverty's face was unlike any other that Mr. Tomorrow had ever seen. He appeared old and worn, a reflection of his countless visits to homes where he collected debts. His face was rough and harsh, showing no kindness. Instead, he had a scary presence that made people feel uneasy. No one wanted poverty in their homes because his arrival brought sadness and fear. He stormed into Mr. Tomorrow's apartment like he owned the place and said in a rough voice, "I'm here to collect for Mr. Credit. You owe him money." He made himself comfortable, acting like he owned the place, and announced that he wouldn't leave until Mr. Tomorrow paid back his debt to Mr. Credit. Mr. Tomorrow pleaded with poverty to go away, but poverty wasn't there to give warnings. He was there to make Mr. Tomorrow's life as miserable as he had made countless others. Sitting there, poverty bragged about how he had taken homes, cars, jewelry, and even lives from so many people during his lifetime. Panic took over Mr. Tomorrow, and he ran, desperately searching for Lady Time. He hoped she could still offer him that job at her office so he could pay off his debt and escape poverty. He rushed to her office, begging for help, but Lady Time responded in a calm voice, "I can't help you, Mr. Tomorrow. It's too late now. You must face the consequences of your choices. I gave you many chances to work with me, but you chose not to." That evening, Mr. Tomorrow returned home, weighed down by worry and regret. He stood on his balcony, gazing out at the fading sky, thinking about what to do next. Poverty had settled in with a heavy presence, refusing to let him rest or even sit on his couch for a moment. It constantly nagged at him, demanding repayment for the money owed to Mr. Credit. As he stood there, the weight of his choices pressed down on him, and he felt his circumstances closing in like a heavy chain, making it hard to breathe. Then, suddenly, something small yet significant caught his eye. A line of ants scurrying across the pavement. Each ant carried bits of food, working tirelessly, its tiny legs always in motion. Even ants work harder than I do, he thought. He recalled the words from the Bible. "Go to the ant, you sluggard. Consider its ways, and be wise." This realization struck him deeply. He had been waiting for success to come to him while avoiding the hard work that could actually lead him there. Overwhelmed by this realization, he fell to his knees that night, suddenly aware of how long it had been since he last prayed to God. Tears streamed down his face as he admitted to being a lazy fool, squandering precious opportunities and shying away from any meaningful effort. In that moment of honesty, he poured out his heart, seeking forgiveness and guidance. He prayed for the strength to break free from the chains of laziness and the courage to face the responsibilities that lay ahead. It was a heartfelt plea for change, a genuine desire to reclaim his life and start anew. Mr. Tomorrow picked up the phone and called Focus and Determination, feeling a mix of anxiety and hope. He poured out his heart to them, apologizing for his past neglect and laziness, and asked if they could speak to Lady Time about giving him one last chance. After listening to his plea, Lady Time agreed to offer him another opportunity. Embracing this new opportunity, Mr. Tomorrow made a solemn promise to himself. He would show up on time every day and fully accept the responsibilities of his role. He finally tackled the chaos in his apartment, transforming it from a cluttered mess filled with unwashed laundry and scattered takeout containers into a peaceful place. The kitchen, once a neglected space with an overflowing sink and an empty refrigerator, now sparkled with cleanliness and order. Each dish was neatly stacked, and the counters were wiped free of crumbs, creating an inviting area for preparing meals. Soon, he settled his debt with Mr. Credit, and poverty was nowhere to be found in his apartment. There's a saying by J.C. Ryle that goes, Tomorrow is the devil's day, but today is God's. Ryle reminds us that procrastination isn't just a harmless habit. It can be a spiritual pitfall. Satan doesn't mind how noble or spiritual our intentions are, whether it's to live a more meaningful life, to mend broken relationships, or to draw closer to God, as long as those intentions are pushed off to tomorrow. Every day we wait, telling ourselves we'll start tomorrow, we risk falling into a spiritual slumber, a state of constant delay. It's in these delays that the habit of waiting for tomorrow starts to take root, making it harder each day to take action. Mr. Tomorrow found himself in that very trap. When he finally chose to act, he realized that no one else could wake him up from this slumber. It had to be his decision. As Mr. Tomorrow's story draws to a close, it serves as a powerful reminder that inaction only provides the illusion of comfort. In many ways, we all have a little Mr. Tomorrow within us, waiting for the right time to act. Yet, like Mr. Tomorrow, we are not alone on this journey. In Matthew chapter 26, verse 41, Lord Jesus reminded us to watch and pray so we may not enter into temptation. His words invite us to seek his guidance as we face life's challenges. For it is in God's strength, not our own, that we can truly change. Hard work is important, and while we shouldn't procrastinate, it's also essential to know when to rest. The opposite of laziness is not constant activity, but mindful action, where effort and rest are both given their proper time. So, what about you? Are you putting off something important until tomorrow? Remember, it's never too late to seek help and begin a new chapter with God's guidance. Mr. Tomorrow took his step. Will you take yours?